look, it's how you feel. From subtle, natural aesthetics to personalized wellness care, everything we do is intentional. This is beauty with purpose. At Vibe Men's Health, we take that same approach. We focus on what matters most: strength, energy, and performance. Built on real data, real medicine, and real results, we're here to help you look better, feel stronger, and live fully. Come vibe with us today.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 9.
Good Tuesday evening and welcome in here to the Room to Room Weather Center for Mississippi Live Weather at 9. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor, and what an action-packed show we have once again. I know I say that before every show. I think they're all action-packed, but tonight we have sports mixed with a little bit of weather and mixed with a little bit of an interesting phenomena down in Hattiesburg. We'll get into those headlines here in just a moment. First, let's focus on our big headline tonight, and that's heading into the weekend, the warm temperatures that are moving in, and emphasis on the mostly dry conditions, because I do think a few showers work their way into the pattern, but the bulk of the rainfall not moving in until parts of next week. So tonight, not rainfall we're worried about, but patchy fog possible for some. We're looking at which areas are expecting to see those. Rain chances remain very, very limited over the next several days, so any of those outdoor plans, and we saw some controlled burns happening today. Well, this is the best forecast for it, and you need to take advantage of it here in North Mississippi. Rain, not the worry in Hattiesburg. A sight you'll have to see to believe, definitely a biblical nature to it almost. And we'll look at that with our Ethan Foster down there in Hattiesburg for our softball state championships. Let's bring it back up north here to North Mississippi, where we look at the first 12, 65 by 10, 60 by 1 a.m., and we're dropping into the mid to upper 50s during the early morning hours. But you see this graphic right here, a little bit of that patchy fog beginning to develop because moisture is still in the area, despite it being a very dry pattern. And we're looking across the region at some areas where we expect that to happen. Blue Springs, not expecting that for you, but West Union, East Union showing up for Union County tonight and hoping to bring home some of those titles down there from Hattiesburg right back here to North Mississippi. As we look out there towards Houston, 70 degrees right now, but those dew points in the upper 50s show that moisture is in the air, and the reason why fog is a concern for us is because there's little to no wind. And that little to no wind means that moisture is able to settle down to the ground, doesn't dry up, and thus results in some of that fog as well. Hattiesburg, there you're getting a look at some of those police lights there as they're directing traffic out of the area. Postpone play until tomorrow morning. Again, we'll see why here in a moment. But down in Hattiesburg, we're 72 degrees and dry. So if you're looking to head down for any of those games tomorrow, I know we have a lot of North Mississippi teams representing, and it'll be, again, a great forecast for you heading down that way. Our Mama Justice Doppler radar has been pretty calm here in North Mississippi. One thing that I was looking at earlier on was this boundary that began to develop. No rainfall attached to it, but definitely an interesting feature and had the potential to pop up a shower or two. But overall, in those rainfall totals, I told you last night that I'm not expecting anything out of these totals, and that's verifying once again tonight. So models overdoing those rain chances a bit. We brought those back down because we're not expecting any of those rain chances to actually develop all the way to the surface. If anything does develop, it's further aloft. Our dew points across the region can see that they are a little bit higher along the Mississippi-Alabama state line. I mean, we're in the low to mid 60s, so that is definitely enough moisture to supply some of that patchy fog by the morning. But the further west you go, we're 56 in Chula. Even out there, let me see if I can get a quarry tool and get out there towards parts of Tallahatchie County. We're 48 degrees, so it's just a drier pattern, meaning that fog is not expected, and it's going to be a dry and comfortable night, all things considered, there along I-55. Our Mama Justice Doppler radar keeps that moisture, keeps the rain chances further towards the south and east. That's what we've expected. We were hopeful for a sprinkle or two, but just not verifying because there was no lift to our atmosphere here in North Mississippi. Even looking towards the north, you can see that those rain chances remain right along that cold front, but I mean, if we're talking about coverage, I'll go ahead and get blue to highlight this cold front. Rain chances remaining on the higher 1/3 of this frontal boundary. Back here on the back 2/3, not exactly getting a ton of moisture development, not exactly getting a ton of showers. So we're expecting that to remain primarily dry, and that's the part of the front that's moving into North Mississippi. So rain chances, once again, very, very limited. We said it at the top, right? Let's go ahead and use Futurecast to track that out for tonight. And once again, as you can see, the moisture well off there towards our south and east. But you see that cloud cover that begins to form? That's actually some patchy fog that's going to develop overhead in those areas that are seeing a ton of moisture right now. And that will continue to linger even into parts of 6 a.m. for your Wednesday morning commute before that does work its way on out by mid to late morning. There's your cold front moving across North Mississippi, and rain chances, we were talking about this earlier as well, how the rain chances are on our models are well behind this frontal boundary. I don't think the frontal boundary is incorrectly placed. I think the rain chances are just not going to verify back behind it. So while we're keeping a 10% mixed in there, I'm not sold on it. I think that we are going to be mostly dry even by the afternoon. I kept it 10% just in case, but I would almost put it at a 3% if we were really judging my confidence on this. The next 24 stays foggy for the morning, but as we work our way through the day, we're 81 degrees by noon, 83 by the afternoon, dropping back into the upper 60s by 10 p.m. tomorrow night. So your Wednesday shaping up with another beautiful forecast. But coming up in the next 60 seconds, we're going to be looking at that forecast heading into the weekend where warm temperatures are expected, limited rain chances, but it's a busy weekend in the fact that we have state championships, we have our SEC baseball forecast, and we just have our local plans as well. If you have any plans, well, we'll go ahead and update you on what to expect coming up in the next 60 seconds. And our sports will have a site you have to see to believe. Our Ethan Foster covering that in more detail right after the break.
Imagine your child with no place to sleep. For many children, that is their reality tonight. When you buy a mattress at Room to Room, we give one to a child in need through Beds for Kids. Buy a bed, give a bed, change a life.
Looking for a place to finally call home? At Tupelo Home Center, we make it easy. From finding the perfect home to making financing a breeze, we'll take care of everything. Your new home is closer than you think. Pre-qualify today at TupeloHomeCenter.com.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
So a superb stretch across North Mississippi over the latter part of this work week, and you see why. Dry Wednesday, dry Thursday, dry Friday, even dry for the most part of our weekend, and those temperatures not overly balmy, but getting into the weekend, they definitely do ramp up into the upper 80s. That's what we're watching as we get over this extended time frame. But rain chances, we're not worried about that really until we get into parts of next week. Tonight, it continues to be that patchy fog for some that we're expecting to develop overhead. Caledonia coming in around 67 degrees, but look at those dew points, low 60s. The saving grace there in Lowndes County, winds coming out of the east at about 10 miles an hour. If they're above 5 miles an hour, I do expect the fog chances to remain low, and we'll hope that that continues overnight as well. But the moisture is definitely there, and that's what's allowing for that patchy fog to be possible for some. Macon coming in 69 degrees, dew point there at 63, winds 9 miles an hour. Again, the saving grace with this pattern, and we're not complaining one bit. Definitely don't want a foggy start to the day. But if you get a little bit further towards Oktibbeha County, we're 66 degrees, dew point at 64, and yes, the winds non-existent. So it doesn't take us getting too far away before that moisture will really take shape, and patchy fog there in Oktibbeha County expected for some as we enter into those final days of the school year and our graduating class of 2026, including Caleb. I'm going to keep giving him a shout out. Definitely ending the year with some foggy conditions there in Oktibbeha County. Our severe weather risk. This is a welcome sight for this time of year. We do not have a severe weather risk across the United States for Tuesday. Getting into Wednesday, we do have a few minimal chances out there towards Pittsburgh and West Virginia, even up there towards Amarillo, Texas, but North Mississippi remaining calm. Thursday, the same thing. That system primarily up there towards the north and west, and that's where it will remain, and keeping the severe weather chances there as well. Getting into our Saturday, that next system develops, and this is the one that will eventually work its way into North Mississippi. Takes a bit of time, as you can see it kind of stalls up there towards Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa and Missouri, but eventually working its way towards the south and east. Not saying it's impossible to get some stormy weather next week, but we're definitely not looking at those spring severe weather season setups where we're going to get a ton of storms and potentially some strong storms at that. We're not looking at that for next week as of right now. Rainfall, even hard to find some days where we're getting rainfall. You can see our Weather Prediction Center forecast over the next 5 days remain very limited on some of that rainfall potential, but by Sunday, by Monday, really by Tuesday, those rain chances do increase. Tonight, moisture coming in the form of fog that begins to develop towards about 3, 4, 5 o'clock on your Wednesday morning, and temperature-wise going to be in the mid-50s, showing that moisture limiting how much we cool off. But those winds non-existent, that's helping drive that foggy start to our Wednesday. Let's take Futurecast through those overnight hours, and again, you'll see that cloud cover develop. Where we get that faint hue of white, that's where that fog is expected to form. Now, it might be less evident for some in the Golden Triangle, but that's where we say patchy fog possible. So might see some dense fog advisories for some. Not really expecting that with this setup, but for some areas, just don't be shocked if you get some of those foggy conditions. As the morning continues on, there we're getting a look at that fog continuing to linger around. That helps blanket our atmosphere from cooling off too much, so we're expected to be in the upper 50s. So if it was too cool this morning, well, it should be a little bit better tomorrow by a few degrees. And speaking of the school day, our school day forecast brought to you by IMPC, 58 degrees drop off, 78 lunch, and 82 towards that final bell. With that being said, there is a chance at least a sprinkle, 2 sprinkles possible there as you wrap up your school day Wednesday, but I'm not sold on it. Again, something we've been talking about over the past several days is the fact that we are in a very dry pattern, a very dry atmosphere that does not support any showers to develop. Even with the lifting mechanism in this cold front, you can see how that extends across North Mississippi. We have the drier northwesterly flow behind it, and that's where it's trying to hint at some sprinkles with our HRRR model. But guys, I'll be honest, with it lining up so far behind that cold front, I don't think these rain chances really do verify. I think we stay dry throughout the entirety of our Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon going to be warm, especially with those dry conditions. 84 Eupora, Houston, and Starkville, 87 Belzona and Greenville, 85 Tunica, 81 Oxford, 82 Boonville and Red Bay. Our Wednesday evening continues on, and as you can see, tries to hint at a few of these showers popping up. Again, not sold on that. I don't think a sprinkle is impossible. That's why I put the 10%. But I don't expect much out of this setup. Definitely a drier pattern for our Wednesday once again. Getting into Thursday, those dry conditions continue to reign supreme, and it's because this shadowy figure up there towards North Arkansas is high pressure, and that high pressure system inches closer and closer to North Mississippi, giving us that sinking air and, of course, that drier and calmer format as well. Thursday morning, still going to be pretty mild for some. We're 61 Belzona, 62 Greenville, 53 though Water Valley and Bruce, even up here towards Tupelo, so that's cool enough. We need that extra layer, but won't need it for long as those temperatures ramp up throughout the day. Your Thursday stays dry. A big thank you once again to high pressure for allowing those dry conditions to stick around. And we'll see that even into the afternoon hours, so don't have to worry about any of those storms. Don't have to worry about any rainfall. The only thing you have to worry about is perhaps some cloud cover building in the latter part of our Thursday, and that could make way for a few pop-up showers there by Friday. Very limited, like I mentioned, so don't expect much out of this, but a chance is a chance, and I want to let you guys know where a sprinkle is possible. And Friday might see a few sprinkles with that as well. We're 79 Water Valley, Senatobia, and South Haven. That's a drop in those temperatures, and that's what we're feeling from the cold front that moved through. Although the cold front didn't bring a ton of rain chances, will drop our temperatures just a bit, but will not last long. If you take a look at that weekend forecast, I know this is in Texas, but we could basically carry this over to North Mississippi as well, as we're 88 Friday, 87 Saturday, even 88 Thursday there at College Station. So Bulldogs traveling to a warm atmosphere. Hopefully the bats heat up with those temperatures. We'll see. It's tough being a state fan right now, but postseason right around the corner. Woo, that's when it matters. Our Ole Miss Rebels taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide over in Tuscaloosa. You can see Thursday cooler, Friday gradually warming up, but Saturday in the upper 80s, even there in Alabama, looking in the warmer direction, and we are continuing to remain dry even out there towards Alabama. So that's what we're tracking over this extended time frame, even into the weekend, remaining mostly dry, temperatures there in the upper 80s, but towards parts of next week, chances do return, limited capacity, but like I said, let's say it together, a chance is a chance. And that's what matters when we're talking about this dry pattern we have been in. Now, our Ethan Foster has been live tracking every game down in Hattiesburg for you. And he actually joins us tonight right here in the Room to Room Weather Center to talk what he's seen, what the latest results are from those games. And of course, it's been busy, to say the least, right?
It's been busy, Gabe, and I got to say, there's some exciting things to talk about. If the people at home have not been keeping up with the action down in Hattiesburg, let's just say it gets a little crazy the further we go along in our schedule of games tonight. Of course, we had a game earlier today that we previewed a little bit and that went final just after our 6 o'clock broadcast. Of course, right there behind Gabe, you see the final out. And what happened, Gabe? Tell the people. Are
Well,
we
it was a
happy?
strikeout. It was a strikeout.
Yeah.
East Union. Can I say whoop and tail in this one? I don't know if I can say that,
Tail
but
down in Hattiesburg. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it's fitting for this score. What did it end up being, Ethan? You have the final for us.
11-0. It was 11-0 when we last spoke at 6 o'clock, and they ended that game early. So maybe a little bit of a mercy rule for the East Union Urchins. They continue on, and as of right now, their next game against Enterprise tomorrow at 4:45 in the afternoon. The way they played today, we might see East Union taking the state title in 2. But that's not the only game we have to talk about, Gabe. And Gabe, I know, is excited to hear more about this one because we just witnessed something very interesting happen in this one. It's the 1A state title. We just talked about 2A. But this is West Union and Sebastopol. And actually, right here, you're getting a look at what happened earlier in this game. This is the top of the 4th inning, and you're going to see that West Union is doing a lot of scoring here. They got the bases loaded right here. That's line out the left. That's going to bring in, 2 runs right there. You would have thought they would have at least saved it there, standing up safely. That's going to be, there goes another one. I mean, this is crazy. You got to stop them, right? You can't have that many people coming in safe with the bases loaded, the balls at home. And, yes, got the out there, but another run comes in to score. Well, Gabe knows this. The people at home may not know this, but the game actually was suspended due to maybe some not quite biblical proportions of what are being said to be termites. What is going on out there, Gabe?
It's just unreal. Yeah, termites. I said rain wasn't the worry down in Hattiesburg. I mean, if you look at the lights, you get a good visual on those termites, but Ethan just covering, blanketing, swarming, however you want to word it, the field there at Southern Miss.
Golly, I mean, I will say this. I was looking up Exodus chapter 10 earlier. We were talking about what the proportions were like, and it said that locusts were seen in Egypt as never would be seen again. So I can only imagine how bad it must have been if this is how bad the termites are down in Hattiesburg right now. And I will say, termites are not a joke. We had a little bit of a termite almost scare here at home when we first moved in last year. We got the exterminators to come out, but you can tell when they're looking for a place to stay. And obviously not finding a place to stay because they're restless and flying around. The videos and pictures that I've seen on Facebook of this are just wild. I emailed one to Gabe from Mississippi Sports of a girl missed a can of bug spray.
A West Union player, might I add.
Yeah, exactly. And so, as things stand, this game has been suspended in the middle of the 4th inning. It's 4-0 West Union, and it's going to be resumed tomorrow at 9 a.m. As long as the termites are in bed by then. I don't know how long termites stay up. I don't know if they're pulling an all-nighter for finals. I don't know what they're doing, but the game is currently suspended. I don't know if I remember that ever happening since I've been doing any of this. So that's definitely a first for me. I definitely know we've had some nights where the bugs have been very, very thick. I remember when we went to go see Morville Patchy for our game of the week softball, that there were some pretty intense bug clouds, but nothing like this, nothing that had to get a suspension. So just kind of crazy. This all happening literally within the last 45 minutes. The fans, I guess, are missing out on the end of that game, but West Union does lead at 4-0, and they will hope to keep that lead over Sebastopol when they resume tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
For sure, and that game, one of many tomorrow. I know that you have the latest on some of those matchups tomorrow that we have yet to cover because that's going into the next day of our softball matchups. Ethan, I know that you have the very latest.
Yes, there's definitely more to talk about, and spent a lot of time looking over these matchups today. And what we do have for you next is our 3A state title matchup. That's going to be the Kossuth Aggies versus the West Marion Trojans. As you can see, number 12 and number 29 in the state, a little bit of a closer matchup, but you got a couple of things to think about in this matchup. One, Kossuth finally getting over the hump. I saw a post earlier today that mentioned how they've been playing for the North Half title 5 of the 6 last seasons, and they have finally made it to the state title game. This is their first state title appearance, so they are very excited to be here playing for this game. So we actually have a clip right here. This is Kossuth, the final out that sent them to the state title game. And so sorry to my friends over in Nettleton. We were actually there for game 1 of that series. Kossuth actually lost game 1, but they turned it around and managed to take down Nettleton to make it to the finals. And it should be a big matchup. Players to watch for Kossuth. Number 15, Callie-Ann Mitchell, saw her out on the diamond. Batting .506, leads the team. Also leads the team in home runs, 42 hits, RBIs, 48 of those, 13 doubles, and 6 triples. She is a senior, and she is definitely playing like a senior. And then for the West Marion Trojans, number 88, Gracie Odom. She is a senior, batting .363. She leads the team in stolen bases and in runs scored and in hits. She has 14 RBIs on the season. And Gabe, I just have to bring this up. There is a player on this team, and I could not have predicted this. I'm not making this up, but her name is Mackenzie Stringer. But do you know what they call her, Gabe? They call her Bug. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. Who could have predicted that we'd be talking about a player whose nickname is Bug on the same night that a game was suspended due to what? Bugs. Kind of crazy. But with that being said, I do believe that Kossuth is going to take game 1 in this series. They've got a turnaround season from a first-round elimination to the state title game in a year. That's a big deal. West Marion's avenging a South Half loss last year, and Kossuth's only loss in the playoffs was last week in game 1 to Nettleton. We saw that loss. West Marion only has 1 loss in the playoffs as well right now, Gabe. I'm going with Kossuth in game 1. That's assuming that they don't have to deal with any bugs like West Union does. But Kossuth scheduled to play at 10 o'clock on Wednesday. I'm starting to think that game might be get switched around a little bit with West Union having to resume their game at 9, but it is the top of the 4th inning, so you've got to think that game won't take much longer. Hopefully everything can go scheduled as planned, but if it doesn't, again, the original schedule, Kossuth and West Marion is supposed to match up at 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning, and then for game 2 on Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. And I believe we do have one more game to preview. We'll see if we absolutely do. And it's another local team that everybody has been very excited about, and that is Itawamba Agricultural High School. They are the number 3 best team in the state, according to Max Preps. Very, very good all season. You can see right there, number 8, Abby Robertson to watch. Junior on the team, leads the team in just about every major metric. She's batting .546, has a team-leading 9 home runs, 53 hits, and 47 RBIs is kind of insane. 14 doubles and 5 triples. Okay, so this is a really big deal right here. And not only that, but I also wrote down someone else to mention that I didn't have written down earlier, and that's Miss 4A Layla Owens, star pitcher for the Indians. She has 27 wins, which is number 5 nationally. She has 230 strikeouts, which is top 106 nationally. She has a .79 ERA. That is absolutely insane. Senior pitcher Layla Owens, Miss Softball 4A. Very cool to be seeing those best in the state athletes matching up in the state title games. In West Lauderdale, got to say, I need you to upload those stats and rosters because I want to shout you out. But tonight, the shout out goes to IAHS. They will be looking to continue to be a dominant force at the end of this year to finally complete that state title run. These are 2 teams that have dominated 4A for the last 3 years, Gabe. West Lauderdale, state champions in 2023 and 2024. They actually lost North half in 2022, but they were still there. And then IHS, they won it all last season. Both of these teams are undefeated in the playoffs. West Lauderdale lost to IHS in the third round last year. IHS, of course, looking to repeat as state champions, but two very good teams. I do think it's going to be a close series. Of course, I got to go with the Indians in this one, the local team. I'm always partial to our North Mississippi teams, but they are very, very good. They've got Miss Foray on their side, and I think she's going to go out and pitch a good one when they do finally get to take the field. The Indians will match up with West Lauderdale for Game 1 on Thursday at 12:15, and if everything goes according to plan, Game 2 on Friday at 12:15. Should be a really good one, Gabe. And like I said, a lot of good matchups to keep up with, and who knows what's going to happen the rest of this week. It's already been a crazy night from East Union taking down Game 1 11-0, and then West Union having to get stopped because of termites. Who knows what else is in store down in Hattiesburg the rest of this week.
Well, I guess you can say that southern half isn't stopping our north half teams, but the bugs are. So that's what it took.
It took bugs, but hopefully they get it all done tomorrow and the rest of the week. And, of course, I will mention if any of these teams manage to split the series, there's a schedule for Game 3s starting Thursday night at 7 o'clock all the way through Saturday. Those are not set in stone. Those are only as needed. But, of course, we'll kind of keep you guys posted as those games are needed. We've already seen, an unexpected occurrence tonight with the termite cancellation or suspension, I should say. So who knows? But, of course, it's always fun to track these and keep up with our local teams as they fight to bring home that championship trophy.
For sure. And bring your bug spray tomorrow if you're headed down there to support our local teams.
Bring the bug spray and pray.
And pray. Amen. Ethan, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again at 10 o'clock tonight, but I appreciate all the hard work that you've done behind the scenes to get us prepped and ready for those matchups tomorrow. So take it easy. We'll see you here very shortly.
All right. See you then, Gabe.
All right, let's go ahead and bring it back in here to the Room to Room Weather Center. Get a quick look at that forecast for our Wednesday. I will say, needed to add a game to this now with West Union basically having a doubleheader tomorrow at 9 a.m. and then heading into 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. So some of those times will be swapped. We have that first pitch there at 10 a.m. for Kossuth. Again, probably going to have that swapped around a bit to accommodate for the change in schedule because things were getting a little bit buggy down there. So there's a look at those temperatures. 74 for Kossuth, 84 for East Union, 78 for West Union's second game. And then hopefully bringing home some titles tomorrow for East Union and West Union to wrap up those series and bring it back home here to North Mississippi. So coming up here at 10 o'clock, I do want you guys to stay here and stay tuned in because we're going to be looking at the latest on some big forecasts heading in through the end of the week on top of our high school game of the week. We have our baseball games, we have our graduation, we have the rain chances this weekend, the very limited rain chances, but rain chances nonetheless, and the heat that's moving in as well. Some big stories heading into this weekend. You're going to want to download that Mississippi Live Weather app today. Like, subscribe, follow, download. All of those things help you stay updated and stay prepared ahead of these storms, whether those storms be rain or termites, right? We'll hear more from that coming up tonight at 10 as well with our Ethan Foster with sports. So tune in then, and our meteorologist Maggie McCauley live bright and early, 6:37 and 7:30, tracking a bit of that fog there, but nonetheless, we'll be dry. And that's what matters getting into our Wednesday and then in that extended pattern as well. Here the very latest on what to expect with that extended forecast coming up at 10. But if not, we'll see you bright and early with our meteorologist Maggie McCauley right here in the Room to Room Weather Center.
When C.K. Little opened his doors in downtown Corinth nearly 80 years ago, his plan was simple: deliver excellent service and exceed expectations. That's why we say a little gift goes a long way.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.